Hey Walking Dead fans, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a review video of Season 10, Episode 12 of The Walking Dead. So spoiler alert if you're not caught up to Season 10. Since the episode came out Friday, a lot of people's already seen the episode. A lot of people say they like it. Even some of the critics who have been kind of putting The Walking Dead down a little bit maybe in the past have said that Episode 12 is an amazing episode. This could be one of the all-time top episodes of The Walking Dead. So jumping right into the review, it was a great episode, and we've had opening minutes, we've had sneak peek clips, we've had the trailer, we've had a bunch of stuff that I've talked about before. So I won't go into the opening minutes, that first 4 minutes that they showed us again, but some key points that happened in that. One of the main things is Hilltop gets overrun, pretty much overrun. It's burned down. They're losing the battle. In one scene, Gamma says to Lydia, "Don't go back out there. You know what Alpha wants." Lydia says, "I'm not going to walk with her again." And they pretty much put that small little clip in there just to, let us know what happens later in the episode. And of course, Judith makes her first human kill in this little opening minute scene that was revealed to us. But as we move on into the episode, we see Magna return. She's mixed up in the Horde, kind of put blood on her, and she's walking with the Horde. Yumiko sees her, but as we find out later, Connie and her together were in the Horde, but their hands slipped from each other and got separated. She doesn't know where Connie is. And as we know, and we've mentioned before in news videos and different things, that the actress Lauren Ridloff that plays Connie is off doing a movie called The Eternals. That's a Marvel Universe movie, so it should be pretty cool. Should be really good for her, the actress. And actually, I don't think she died. She should be returning. And then in the aftermath of the battle, we know several groups of survivors got away in little pockets, different people, different situations. But after the battle at Hilltop, we see Negan. That scene we didn't know. Was it Michonne? Is it Negan? Who is it? What's he doing? Is he killing a Alpha or Beta? Is he in a fight? He's still with the Whisperers, and he's killing a Hilltopper who had got burned and maimed. Of course, he smashed the head with a baseball bat, and Alpha says through the heart, because we need walkers. We need to replenish the Horde. So Beta pretty much tells Negan to go round up some walkers, and while he's out there, we get the sneak peek scene that we got, Negan meeting face-to-face with Aaron, but then, and he's chasing Lydia at this point. Negan saw Lydia while rounding up walkers, and he's going after her, and then he eventually catches her. Then we get a scene with Alden, Kelly, Adam, the baby, and Gamma. Gamma wants to hold the baby because it's crying, and Alden, of course, is like, hell no, but eventually Alden lets Gamma hold the baby, and she does seem to quiet it down. They make a rest stop, but Gamma hears the Horde coming. There's whispers, possibly the Horde, and she knows they're coming. She says, we got to keep moving. And then the Horde kind of surrounds them, so they make their way. They find this abandoned van out in the middle of the woods. Gamma, she stays outside the van and wants to lure away the little pack of walkers that have came around the van, and she succeeds in doing so up to a certain point, because I think some do stay at the van, but she ends up killing them, and she's kind of happy about it to herself, but she turns around and gets a knife in the gut. Beta's huge knife goes up in her gut, and she tries to fight him off for a second, but it's just too late, and he kills Gamma. He puts her up against a tree and pretty much waits around until she comes back as a walker. But one thing to note in that situation with Gamma, while she's fighting against Beta, a knife in her gut, rips off half of his mask. And, what's he going to do now? He's going to kind of stitch it back together. But another Whisperer walks up, dumbass, and says, "Oh, it's you. I thought I recognized your voice." Because, Beta supposedly is a country singer on the show. He was like a basketball player in the comic, famous celebrity. But the Whisperer's like, "I thought that was you, dude." And, of course, he should have known better. Beta slits his throat for finding out who he is. So all that waiting, I thought was kind of funny that Beta did all that waiting, and it's different times for different people as far as reanimation. We don't really know how long he waited, but as soon as she pretty much stood up, she gets an arrow through the brain, and that was by Alden. And he has the bow and some arrows, and he's re-aiming, going to try to hit Beta, but Beta runs off. So then we have Yumiko and Magna. We got Carol, Eugene. They're one group that made it out together, and Carol kind of gets confronted by Yumiko and gets punched in the face, slapped in the face, and that's a pretty good punch. And that's pretty much for Yumiko asking Carol to even say, I'm sorry, to Magna. And Carol's like, would it do any good? Is that really what she wants to hear? And pow! Eugene does ask about Carol, how she's doing, and Carol pretty much says, have you ever done stupid things and got a bunch of people killed? And because it's a selfish goal. And that pretty much explains Eugene's story arc for pretty much his entire time up till maybe All Out War. But then Carol does find Lydia's staff, and that's another WTF a little bit to me, like out in the woods, even under some leaves. Just so happens she finds her staff that when Negan, I guess, caught her, left it laying there. Seems like Negan would have at least let her keep the staff because he knew he wasn't going to turn her over to Alpha. And it's weird to me that Carol finds it out of the blue, but, you know, whatever. And then we get Daryl and the group, which includes Jerry and some others, and they're looking for the kids. They go back to the rendezvous point, and King Ezekiel should have got the kids out and got them to that point, but there's no kids, there's no Ezekiel. So Daryl and Jerry, they go back and they find Ezekiel actually back at Hilltop, it seems like. And then Ezekiel seems to know where the kids actually are. Earl took them to a different little shack or cabin or old house. And he actually, though, once we see him, he does have the kids, Judith's there, they're all safe. Earl has been bitten, and he pretty much gets the kids safe and goes into the back room, and he's going to kill himself, trying to injure his brain so that he doesn't reanimate and hurt the kids in any way. Judith walks in and sees him doing that, asks, to be with him, and he says no. He tries to stab himself with like a railroad spike, but it doesn't work all the way, and Judith, when she comes back in there to check on him, she actually has to put him down. So Daryl, Ezekiel, Jerry, these guys, they finally make it to the house, and they find that Judith did have to put Earl down. And, when Daryl sat down with Judith and was like, it's going to be all right. I'm not saying I shed a tear or anything. I'm sure it was my sinuses kicking in. And then we get Negan approaching Alpha saying, that thing you were looking for, I found it. So Negan is going to take Alpha, and the show is trying to lead us to believe that Lydia's tied up in a chair in some type of little shack, and that it's the exact same shack that Negan is taking Alpha to. We find out later, of course, that Lydia is actually in a different little shack, and Negan the whole time was trying to talk to Alpha, tell her some stuff. I don't know if really talk her out of it is the right way to put it. So I'm not sure if he would have spared her if Alpha would have said, you're right. I don't need to kill Lydia. This is all cool. Would Negan have not killed Alpha? I think he would have killed her. I think that was his plan. He's like, enough of this shit. You got to die. You're crazy. And so Negan does lead her into the shack, Alpha into the shack. Alpha sees that Lydia's not there, and she turns around, and Negan slits her throat. He catches her and lays her down onto the ground, and we don't see him cutting her head off, but he does, and puts it in a bag. We see the bag dripping with blood. He rolls the head out on the ground, which has reanimated, and a foot stops it, and the camera pans up, and it's Carol. Took you long enough, Carol says. And I have to admit, I have been saying it was Daryl this whole time. I thought maybe even Judith possibly as a number 2. Carol, I put at least at number 3. But you guys, a lot of you guys anyway, were correct. I think you guys are outdoing me here the last few predictions. I'm going to have to step up my game. But it was Carol that let Negan out. Pretty big twist. Pretty big episode. Alpha's dead. What's Beta going to do? Hilltop's destroyed. Our survivors are split up. Gamma died. With just a few more episodes to go, we should get some more character deaths. Some other people are going to die. We've still got Eugene, his radio thing, the traveling to meet Commonwealth. I think that'll definitely be a cliffhanger. We've got Beta still out there. I think it's going to be a little bit like in the comic. Beta will cause a horde of walkers to head toward Alexandria and then just kind of disappear. In the comic, he unleashed the horde, got them headed directly to Alexandria, And then he said to his Whisperer followers, hey, let the Horde do what we've started. And they kind of disappear for a little while. But I'm hoping somehow, some way, the beta thing is taken care of this season. And he is found and killed. So that next season, all we have to worry about is the Commonwealth going forward. But definitely a lot of holy crap moments, a few WTFs, and a lot of stuff happening in this episode. I just have to say it is a great episode. It is one of my favorite episodes. All time, we'll just have to see. It is right up there on the list, but definitely as far as season 10, best episode. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I've got a news video coming, just a lot of stuff on the way. Hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I did. Let me know what you think about it all in the comments below, and I will see you there. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more dead stuff.